Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hari Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaura Haribol Gaura Haribol Jai Gaur Premanande Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Samveta Gaur Bhaktavinda ki Srimad Bhagavatam ki Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Gaur Premanande Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 68, Chapter entitled The Marriage of Samba. So verse number 17 and 18. So 18 is on the board. I'll read the 17 and then we'll together recite 18. So Vivandyambika Putram Bhishmam Dronam Chabalikam Duryodhanam Chabidhivat Ramam Agatam Abravit. Translation. After he had offered proper respects to the son of Ambika, Dhritarashtra, and to Bhishma, Drona, Bahalika and Duryodhan, Uddhav informed them that Lord Balaram had arrived. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti points out that there is no reference here to Uddhava offering respects to Yudhishthira and his associates, since at that time the Pandavas were staying in Indraprastha. And text 18. Teti pritastam akarnya praptam ramam suhrittamam tam archaitva bhiyayu sarve mangalapanaya Teti pritastam akarnya praptam ramam sruhittamam tam archaitva viyayu sarve mangalapanaya. te te pratastam akarnya praptam ramam suhittamam tam archayitva viyayu sarve mangalapanaya. Please recite. Te te pratastam akarnya. Word to word meaning, translation, purport by disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Prabhupada disciples ki jai. Te, they, ati, extremely, prita, pleased, tam, him, akarnya, hearing, praptam, arrived, ramam, balaram, suhrittamam, their dearest friend, tam, him, Uddhava, Archaitva, after worshipping, Abhiyayu, went forth, Sarve, all of them, Mangala, auspicious offerings, Panaya, in their hands. Overjoyed to hear that Balaram, their dearmost friend, had come, they first honored Uddhava and then went forth to meet the Lord, carrying auspicious offerings in their hands. Purport. In Krishna, Srila Prabhupada writes, the leader of the Kuru dynasty, especially Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, were very joyful because they knew very well that Lord Balaram was a great well-wisher of their family. There were no bounds to their joy on hearing the news, and so immediately they welcomed Uddhava. In order to properly receive Lord Balaram, they all took in their hands auspicious paraphernalia for his reception and went to see him outside the city door. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Shri Radha Kanta Namaste Takanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So I seek blessings of all the devotees, all assembled devotees and senior devotees, His Grace Fame Sura Prabhu. I just about to start chanting and Achatmo told me that can you give Bhagavatam class? So just thought maybe I can just fulfill his desire, but uh, truly speaking, I am not prepared so much, so it will be a little spontaneous. So please bear with us and bestow your blessings so that I can speak something in parampara for my purification and for glorification of Lord. So we are reading the 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. We are in Dwarka Leela, and most adventurous pastimes are getting enacted by Lord. So, a few chapters back, we saw that Lord Krishna is kidnapping Rukmini Devi in the assembly of Rukmi and other members of the family, and like Rakshasa marriage is kidnapping Rukmini and getting his first wife, and following in the similar footstep, his son uh, Samba, who is son of Jambavati, is following in the footsteps of his father and uh, taking Lakshmana. And we saw previously that how that Kuru elders saying Samba was very happy seeing his prowess, that he was so courageous that he had the dare to kidnap Lakshmana from this great assembly of Bhishma, Duryodhana, and greatest of the powerful Kaurava soldiers. So, but though they are impressed by seeing Samba, but still to establish their position and their position as the ruler of the whole of this world, they wanted to take Samba in their control. So they attacked Samba and then they captured. Though Samba was a Maharathi, but he was attacked by other 6 Maharathis. So he battled vigorously, but still, because the others were also Maharathis, so they could capture him. And this news came to Dwarka and was given by Narad Muni that Samba is captured. So now Yadavas are preparing for battling against the Kauravas, but in the picture came Lord Balaram. So Lord Balaram wanted that there should be a truce between the Kauravas and the Yadavas, because they are related and they are in good relation. So there should be a truce. And Balaramji is the teacher of Duryodhana. So he thought, let's it be a family tie also. So Balaramji, thinking that, he proceeded towards Hastinapur to have a truce, and then he sent Uddhava to meet the Kuru elders. And the Kuru elders also, knowing that Lord Balaram is our well-wisher, they also came from this to the outskirts of the city to honor them. And Srila Prabhupada writes in Krishna book, uh, which struck me very much, is that here Prabhupada wrote that the Kuru elders, according to their respective positions, they welcomed Lord Balaram by giving him in charity nice cows, arghya, mixture of arati water and assortment of items such as honey, butter, flowers and sandalwood pulp. Because all of them knew the exalted position of Lord Balaram as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they bowed their heads before the Lord with great respect. Srila Prabhupada writes that they knew the position of Lord Balaram as Supreme Personality of Godhead. But in the future course of action, we see that when Balaram uh, forcefully spoke uh, that we should return Samba and Lakshmana both, and they should get married. This infuriated the Kuru elders, and they, as we proceed ahead, we'll see how, because of their pride and arrogance, they disrespected Balaram. So this struck me very much that Prabhupada wrote that they knew the exalted position of Lord Balaram, Supreme Personality of Godhead, but still they were so much intoxicated by pride and power and being the royal opulence. They're so puffed up that they were even dared to offend Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the danger of pride. That pride makes one intoxicated, makes one blind to the spiritual reality. That they're offending Lord Balaram, not knowing who he is. Lord Balaram is Supreme Personality of Godhead. We know that yesterday Acharya was telling that Lord Krishna's first expansion is Lord Balaram. And from him comes the other expansion, and the Purusha avatars were controlling the whole universe by their control. Like from Mahavishnu's force, all the universes comes out and again goes back to him. So all this creation and destruction is taken care by Mahavishnu, who is just an expansion of the expansion of the expansion of Lord Balaram. So this is the position of Lord Balaram, but because of their pride, they could not understand. And they considered Balaramji just as an ordinary Yadava. That is why they could dare to speak such disrespectful words to Balaramji. So this is the time again we see that this happening throughout the scriptures, that pride is making the person lose his track of his elders or spiritual master or even Supreme Lord. We see in the pastimes of Lord Indra that Lord Indra, he was repeatedly getting worship of the Brajavasis. Brajavasis everywhere is worshipping Lord Indra with all their different paraphernalias, different items, and giving him an elaborate worship every year. And getting such repeated worships, Indra became very puffed up in the thought that I deserve this. I should be worshipped. I am the controller of the rain, and I am providing the rain. I am providing all these necessities. And because of getting such repeated worship and such honor, Indra, and also because of his post as the chief of the demigod, he was so puffed up that when Krishna, with his sweet voice and sweet speech, convinced the Brajavasis, Nanda Maharaj, that this year we should not worship Indra, but we should worship Govardhan. And because Brajavasis are always wants to please Krishna, so they neglected that worship of Indra, and just to please Krishna, they started worshipping Govardhan. And this infuriated Indra so much that he was even ready to kill all these associates of Lord. He sent Sambartaka cloud, which comes at the time of destruction of the universe, whole universal creation. So that Samvartaka cloud is sent to Vrindavan just to kill all the Brajavasis. And he tried all his heart, all his best might, but he could not dare to touch Vrindavan and could not kill even a single Brajavasi because Lord Krishna was in control. So, and later we see that how uh, Indra could understand his mistake. Indra could understand his guilt, and then he begged forgiveness, and with the help of Surabhi cow. But just after few chapters, we read in Krishna book that when Satyabhama wanted the Parijata tree, and Krishna took it away, Indra created another fight against Lord Krishna. So seems very astonishing that even after getting such repeated lessons, that because of that intense pride and intense because of having that opulence, is again and again forgetting and creating troubles for himself. Also see in other pastimes of Daksha. Daksha Maharaj was appointed by Lord Brahma as the chief progenitor. And in the Daksha Yagya, we see that Lord Shiva was his son-in-law. So, but he never wanted to be to Lord Shiva have as his son-in-law. But because Lord Brahma requested him, so he had Lord Shiva as his son-in-law. But when Lord Shiva was in that assembly, in front of all the other people, he offended Lord Shiva, telling that that I have become foolish to give my daughter to you. And he told that you're just like a mad person, always wearing this bhasma, such unclean person. So he offended Lord Shiva. And we see what was the reaction. That later his head was cut and he got a goat head. So this is the result of pride. That pride leads to greatest of the severe reactions. We see in the case of Lord Indra offending his spiritual master Brihaspati. Though it was a momentary, so it may seem that that we may disrespect for a moment or for a small act of disrespect. But when it is done against a great personality like spiritual master, Supreme Lord, it causes great reactions. So we saw that when Indra, because of getting so much honor and worship, he just for a slight moment, he did not offer respect to Brihaspati. And Brihaspati could understand and he just then left. So, but at that moment, Indra could understand that I have offended him and the reaction would be very severe. So, we see that how Indra lost his position and Bali Maharaj captured him because of his worshipping Sukracharya. So, we see in one case that Indra is offending Brihaspati and getting the reaction, and same time Bali Maharaj, because of his properly honoring and worshipping Shukracharya, his spiritual master, he could get the position of the King of Heavens. So, pride is always a danger. And as a learning from the scriptures as a sadhaka, we should be very cautious of this anartha. First of all, pride makes us feel a superiority. This anartha is very difficult to detect, very difficult to recognize. Because when pride is there, we feel that we are superior. That internally that feeling is there. So that blocks actually our advancement, because spiritual life, uh, the basic, the ground principle, the foundation is humility. Like always hear His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj speaking, Trinadapi Sunichin, Tarorapi Saishuna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. That the humble heart can, in the humble heart, in the grateful heart, the creeper of bhakti can grow. Whereas pride chokes the growth of that bhakti lata seed, and creates offenses that hinders the progress in our spiritual life. So I was just hearing Maharaj's autobiography, Maharaj, that audio book, and time and again we see that Maharaj, wherever he went, he always have a humble mood to learn uh, from that situation or from that other person. Uh, I was just hearing the Maharaj going in Afghanistan, and one of very rich person in Afghanistan welcomed him in his home, and then he was having a conversation with Maharaj, some philosophical conversation, and that person immediately went there on a rooftop, and that person immediately went to the end of the rooftop and started howling. Whoo! Whoo! And immediately uh, a strange creeper came, which Maharaj did not know. So a mongoose came and came in his lap, in that person's lap. And seeing Maharaj's long hair, the mongoose got attracted. And the mongoose then crept in his hair. And with his hands, the mongoose hold the skull of Maharaj. And Maharaj got very frightened, and he told the other person that, please take him out from my body. But this person told, actually, this is a very auspicious sign. This mongoose in our culture is a very auspicious sign. And and but the problem is that when he takes shelter of some person, if you if you if you try to take him out, then he may kill you. So Maharaj got very frightened, and this person told that, I think this mongoose has found a great shelter in your hair. So, but don't take him out, because if you try to take him out, he may break your skull. Maharaj is wondering, and this mongoose then went for a sleep, nice sleep. And this host also told that, I beg your forgiveness, but don't move. And then he also proceeded. And whole night that mongoose was taking a good sleep, whereas Maharaj is in great anxiety, and but he could not move also, because of having the fear of the mongoose breaking his skull. And then the morning sun arose and the sunlight came, and the mongoose had a very nice 6 hours rest. And then gradually the mongoose went away. And then Maharaj felt a sigh of relief. And uh, this this person, this host came. He also had a nice sleep, and then he begged forgiveness for Maharaj, that I caused you such awkwardness. But Maharaj always grateful. He was grateful for giving him the shelter in his home. And but Maharaj thought that I cannot stay here for more than this, so he went back. And then Maharaj was just reflecting that this was just a terrible situation, but what I can learn from this? So Maharaj was telling that from this actually I learned the virtue of tolerance, the virtue of patience, Jai Shri Nitai Gauranga Bhagavan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So I learned the virtue of tolerance and patience, which would be helping in my journey further. That how this virtue of tolerance and patience is very much required in our progress of spiritual life, because the spiritual realization doesn't come so easily. It takes time, it takes years of practice and years of sadhana. But this mongoose helped me to realize this value of patience, value of tolerance. So I was just reflecting on the mood of Maharaj, that though it was a terrible situation, and the first thing would come in our mind is that how can you have such thing to be done to your guest? Guest should be honored, guest should be welcome. But Maharaj was always in a mood of reflection. What I can learn from this situation? And as he proceeded further, so many awkward things happened to him. Maharaj was in Delhi, and uh, there was a snake charmer was singing, playing the flute and charming all the snakes, and he had different snakes in his basket. And many people gathered to see that. uh, we see in India, like these things are very interesting. So many people gather. Maharaj also, Maharaj also was amazed to see all the big snakes. And this uh, then the snake charmer, seeing that the foreigner is there, he took one of the snake and put it in his Maharaj's neck, and that it coiled around Maharaj's neck, and the hood of the cobra was just few inches away from Maharaj's face. And Maharaj was just wondering that what would my parents would think, that so many miles, thousands of miles away, leaving my parents behind, I have been put in this situation. So Maharaj just wondering what his mother and father would think if they would have seen him in such position. But still, Maharaj was quite patient, and then uh, then a person came and donated, and this snake charmer was asking for Lakshmi, 50 rupees, 50 rupees. Maharaj said, I had no money. So, but till the time this he was not giving any money, that snake he would not release the snake. So almost half an hour passed away, and then a charitable person came and gave 10 rupees to that snake charmer, and then the snake was taken away. So then Maharaj was grateful to that person, and he proceeded further. But Maharaj was always not. What I saw in that pastime is that Maharaj was always reflecting. He got never agitated. Though the situation was terrible, the situation was the situation was very frightening. But Maharaj was always welcoming and trying to learn from the situation. And one more pastime happened, that was also in Kabul. So it was a chilly night, and it was very freezingly cold, and Maharaj missed a bus, and Maharaj he had to go to Kandahar. So, but there was no bus, and it was night time, and then a lady came, very beautiful lady came, and she offered his home for a shelter. And then she gave very nice reception to Maharaj, and then he provided warm bed and a very beautiful room for Maharaj to have his sleep. So Maharaj started taking rest. It was deep in the night, and then that lady had a bodyguard, very stout and very tall. Maharaj tells his height was 6 feet 4 inches. So he was also sleeping alongside with him in another bed. So Maharaj felt very relieved that there's a strong person to take care of if anything happened. So, but at the dead of the night, he felt the hand of that lady, and that lady was trying to embrace her, and his whole body, like he loosened his garment, and she became completely naked. And Maharaj was wondering. So, and she was trying to seduce Maharaj, and Maharaj was got frightened, and he was all his might was trying to take himself away from that lap of that lady. Uh, so that lady was telling, "You are such a young American. Please satisfy my desire." Huh? Maharaj was internally reflecting that, but because previously also one of the girl proposed her, but Maharaj thought that this would be a hindrance in his spiritual progress. He rejected that proposal, and that same kind of, even in a more greater degree, this time came. So, and this lady was telling, if you don't satisfy my desire, then my bodyguard will break all your bones. And this bodyguard was telling, submit or die, submit or die. And that was so frightening. But Maharaja, because of his internal mood of uh, uh, not succumbing to the temptations, Maharaj, all his might, dipped the lady and ran with all his vigor in the chilly night, and as fast as he could. And he ran and ran and ran and ran till the point he felt that he has not gone to a greater distance. And Maharaj was telling that this chilly night was giving much better shelter now than that warm bed. And at that time, Maharaj took a vow that uh, let me always remain a celibate. Let me, in my spiritual progress, never indulge in this. So, uh, this was an amazing thing that all this Maharaj, the vow he took, at one point of time, he took the vow of never eating meat. At one time, he took a vow of never touching any intoxicant. And this point of time, he took a vow of always remaining celibate. So, this was a point of learning that every situation in his life made him take a greater vow, take a greater determination to progress in spiritual life. So, and this can happen when this mood of humility is there, mood of, and that mood of humility actually helps us to learn. When there is pride, it is very difficult to learn, because pride makes us feel that I know everything. I am better than my superiors. My because of too much studies and sometimes too much of knowing things, uh, higher realities, like in Rishi and Srila Prabhupada's pastimes also. Some of Prabhupada disciples asked Srila Prabhupada that, with your permission, we want to go to some that Maharaj or other Maharaj to learn higher realizations. So Srila Prabhupada unknowingly told that you're asking permission to go to hell. So these are the dangers of pride. So as a sadhaka, we need to cultivate. Though we may grow in bhakti, we may be externally grow in our position, in our stature, in the spiritual society, in our even realizations. But still, that mood of humility, that mood of learning, uh, even we see in the case of Krishna and Arjuna. Arjuna, the reasons he gave for not fighting was very noble reasons and very scriptural. But still, uh, after giving all these reasons, he became very confused. But he submitted to Krishna. So, though we may have lot of knowledge, though we may have higher realization even, but if that mood of humility and respect to the superiors and honoring them is not there, then at some point of time we'll get confused. Uh, because Divya Gyan, Hridaya Prakashita. And if there is pride in the heart, there is superiority complex, then that grace of Paramatma, the great grace of Lord that we are receiving because having proper respect for the superiors, that will be choked up. So in some point of life, some point of time, we'll sure to get confused and bewildered how to move ahead in our spiritual life. That is why whichever position, whichever situation, or whichever, however progress we have made in our spiritual life, this ground position of humility should always be there, because that will help us to move further. So, with that foundation of humility, our uh, building blocks of our spiritual life can go to even higher and higher degree. But if that foundation there is some weakness, then after some point of time it will collapse. So even if we have uh, higher status, higher positions, that will create such situation that we will end up offending superiors. So it is very important. And as also Kunti Maharani says that all this uh, name, fame, and this opulences actually bring a lot of pride, and that actually obstructs us to not call Lord feelingly. So this anartha we need to get rid of. So so it is said that dambam mahadupasnam, that we need to uh, curb this pride by worshipping the great personalities. And worshipping great personalities means hearing about their glories. As we are hearing the glories of Lord, understanding the Lord's position of different avatars, we need to hear the glories of spiritual master. We need to hear the glories of the Vaishnavas. Because unless we sufficiently hear the glories and repeatedly hear, we may tend to feel them as ordinary. We may tend to feel the spiritual master as an ordinary person, or the Vaishnavas as ordinary person. So that a tendency to take things ordinary comes when you don't hear properly, when you don't hear about them, don't hear about spiritual master, or don't hear about the glories of the Vaishnavas. Uh, so that we need to do regularly, and always in the mood of servant. Uh, it's very wonderful here. The Vaishnav Sangha is that I see Acharya Prabhu. Last week we are in Vijayawada and then Hyderabad. So he was always in the mood of humble servant of the Vaishnavas there. And in beginning of the class only, he glorified all the Vaishnavas. Like Vijayawada, the first class he gave, was he was uh, he was he was recognized all the Vaishnavas and their service and their special qualities. So 15-20 minutes he glorified all the Vaishnavas. So that was amazing quality we see in Acharya Ratna Prabhu, that though he is such a he's leading this project and he is leading so many devotees, but still that mood of being humble servant mood of always worshipping, always glorifying the all the Vaishnavas. So that mood is always there. So that inspires that even if we uh, spend spend time, lot of time in bhakti, years together, but still that mood of humility and always honoring the other Vaishnavas, whoever he may be, and glorifying them, not finding fault in them, that should be in the forefront. Then our spiritual life will be very smooth, very uh, our spiritual progress and realization will help us to even proceed further, but not to offend others, but will not tend to criticize others. But if you're not careful, then it may happen. So that mood of humility and mood of servant to servant, as we always hear, that should always be cultivated. Then this kind of reality which we see that Duryodhana, whose spiritual master is Balaram, in front of spiritual master, he is speaking such harsh words. So that will not happen. If we regularly hear about their glories, uh, glories of all Vaishnavas, and serving them and trying to honor them and not finding fault in them, then our spiritual life and spiritual journey will be very smooth and free from offenses. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this much only came, whatever in my little understanding. So any comments or any additions? Okay. Yeah. So service should be felt as a privilege, not as our favor to someone. This, like we hear from Maharaj that service uh, is our expression of our love for others, and service also is an opportunity to express our gratitude. So service should be done in a mood of getting the privilege, getting the mood of privilege. Not that service should be done as to impress others or to uh, show our abilities or show our talents. Service is in the mood of privilege, service in the mood of expressing our gratitude, service in the mood of purification. So if that mood is there, then the outcome of the service, the fruits of the service, that will not create pride, but that will will see as a blessings. Whatever fruits we receive, whatever outcome we receive for the service will be seen as blessings by doing proper service. So outcome of a service will see as blessings. But if that mood of service, not that, if that mood is there that I want to impress or I want to show off, then the outcome of service will create more pride. That I have impressed so many people, I have given such a nice lecture, or I have achieved so much. So outcome of that service will increase our pride. So, but rendering service in proper mood will help us get receive more blessings and receive more service. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Please forgive for anything said or beyond my realization, and any mistakes committed. Please forgive for that. श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे